Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Entropia content! Now my new monitor arrived yesterday. I let it sit for a day so that it was frozen solid when it arrived. Canada, we've broke all records again for the coldest fall ever on record. It's already like winter. But yeah, still paying the carbon tax to make it colder. And our electricity bills doubled this year, or heating bills because of the carbon tax. It'll be kind of interesting. Coldest year ever, and we'll be paying for double the heating costs. But anyways, I don't want to get too negative. Really happy that the new monitor arrived. I tried recording in 4K, did a whole episode, and it completely failed. So I was like, fuck, 4K settings are not working for recording. So yeah, I'll give you guys some updates about everything that I already told you about, but it didn't record. Now let's head. Now what I did is I talked to Kayla a bit. She gave me some information about what she was doing. She has been selling some clothing on Calypso and making money by buying making the prints on Next Island from those daily crafting missions. I don't know if she's doing the daily mining or daily crafting, but whatever it is, she's getting the daily missions on Next Island and then selling them here. I figured that's the way to do it, eh? If you buy or you get everything on, Next Island, get the daily mission rewards, bring them to Calypso, you have a better chance of selling them than you will on Next Island. Yeah, and she said she's profiting doing it, so congratulations to her. She said she was putting more of it on Next Island or Calypso's auction. I had some good news. So I logged on to get the game today. There's a player named Ben. Can't remember if it was Ben Dover or something like that. I don't have it here. Sorry, Ben. I closed everything while I talked to everyone this morning and told everyone about your great shop sales. So he helped me out a lot with shop sales. And I have one bed on the metal residue, so it looks like I won't have to fly back to Next Island at least to sell that. Yeah, I guess we'll take the teleporter off and we'll try some stuff. So I'm not even sure what resolution setting this is when I upload it to YouTube, but hopefully it works. That's my main objective now, is just to get it on a setting that'll work, and I'll try to figure out 4K later. Now I watched some tutorial videos on 4K, and they're like, oh, just put it on the presets and it works amazing. And it's like, well, that's nice. It's like I tried the presets and it didn't work at all. It was like crashing everything. Crashing the video recording, the pause and stop buttons stopped working. It's like the whole software in general is just crashing when I tried to do 4K. So I'm assuming it's probably something to do wrong with my computer. OBS has decent customer support, it looked like. They had this section where you could put in questions and include your event log, and people would try to figure out why it wasn't recording properly. Some people are saying that they had to change the BIOS. And I think BIOS is like the main thing that your computer runs off of, so I don't know if I'll be changing that anytime soon. Anyways, let's check out the auction, see what I got for bids. I think nothing. Yeah, no one's helped me out with bids on anything yet. Thanks, guys. Just kidding. No, I don't blame you. A lot of these items are super expensive. I couldn't afford them either, so... yeah, it doesn't look like we'll be selling anything, and I'll have spent hundreds of ped in auction fees. But oh well, at least I tried. See, that's the one issue, I guess, with this 1,000 ped crafting trick, is really... it's not so much of a trick unless you can sell the stuff, the blueprints. Right, so I managed to pick up some shit earlier today, and I also managed to pick up I picked up some green fruit, I think it was. Holy shit, almost got 2,000 of Papillon. If anyone needs some Papillon, let me know. Right, so before I continue much further in the game, let's do a quick spin of the Bitcoin Casino. We're at 39,726. Let's give that a roll. 39,741. Woohoo! Alright, I was going to open something first, but I was like, hey, let's open it on the screen in case boobs show up. I don't want, YouTube giving me hell for that. Alright, so what was I looking for again? Well, it's under Entropia. Oh yeah, here it is. So I had lots of good news video game wise. Yesterday I was trying to fix my Nvidia Shield and get it working, and I fixed it. I was like, holy shit, I've been working on that problem for years and I finally fixed it. So some things were going good. Remember how I was telling you guys about a game called Cybertown? Well, someone just posted a post about before Second Life there was Cybertown. Yeah, so here's some people talking about Cybertown way back. And that's the game that I used to play before I played Entropia. So I figured since I seen that article, that was kind of some neat news. Some people were reminiscing about how awesome of a game Cybertown was. And what happened to Cybertown was a free game for many years. And eventually one day they just added a monthly fee to it and the player base dropped like crazy and switched to other games. So yeah, if you're ever thinking about creating a massively online multiplayer game and then adding a monthly fee to it, gives you a little bit of an idea what will happen. Hint hint, Entropia. Nah, Entropia shouldn't need to. Although, yeah, the news in Entropia has seen Ken and a few other players posting what happened to the Calypso land deed revenue. I don't know what happened, if maybe the land deed revenue went so low that the payment came out to zero. I didn't really hear what happened. So if anyone else wants to post, maybe it just got delayed. I was thinking that happened before too. Alright, so next what I'll do is I had some comments from the Entropia video, or from my videos from the viewers. So let's check that out. Alright, so I'm inching my way over 800 subs. Holy fuck, man, everything looks so drastically different on my bigger monitor. We're gonna have to figure out how to change the text. My text in OBS is so small now I can't even read it. It's like microscopic. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why did some of the button text stay normal size and others shrank so small you can't see it? Don't you hate it when things shrink smaller? Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, there we go. I made it wider, but not bigger. That's what she said. But yeah, so let's check out the comments that we had from yesterday's video. Sorry for the double audio there. Yeah, yesterday I was talking about curbs. Oh yeah, we had 7 likes. Really appreciate that, guys. Only one of them's mine. And the only one comment we got, come on guys, we gotta get a little bit more interaction in here. Now I know with Entropia you're busy already with other stuff in the game, so anyways, Hammy Sammy put, "Hey, thank you. I was told by someone in my society that you had done this. Ha ha ha. I was pretty shocked." Big smile. No, I found out that Hammy Sammy, and let's go to her videos and we'll show off her channel a bit. She's the one girl or lady that got the Hall of Fame on the curbs. And she also has this really cool metal detecting community channel. So if anyone wants to help subscribe, holy shit, she's bigger channel than mine. Already 1,600. Yeah, I had a feeling, because metal detecting is very popular, right? Now, I used to be into metal detecting. I bought a really expensive metal detector and eventually broke on me, and I just quit metal detecting. And there was actually some bad news that happened with our metal detecting adventure, so... No, one guy almost died. So yeah, we kind of got out of it. But maybe I'll get back into metal detecting one day. Now, when the one guy almost died was some paranormal occurrence. Couldn't even believe it. You know the whole grave robbing stories? Well, intentionally we didn't rob a grave. Well, I'll get back to some Entropia and tell the story at the same time. I might have already told the story. So for any new viewers, this story's for you. Yeah, there was some sawdust I had in my auction. Stuff that I was testing out the wood cutting gear. Yeah, so I got my metal detector and we went to the park behind my house to see what we could find with the metal detector. And most of the times we were just finding rusty nails, because I didn't really understand the settings and how to look for just precious metals and not just any metal. So a lot of beer caps, bottle caps, rusty nails, bunch of stuff. And then as we were searching, we found this one spot. And we found this fucking sweet, like, cross that was, like, engraved in a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't know if it was gold or silver and had, like, diamonds in it and stuff. And I was like, holy shit, man. We found this cross and it was amazing. It was kind of funny. My buddy at the time, like, he was the one that found it, and he was just digging randomly next to where I was digging with the metal detector. He's like, haha, I found this. I wasn't even using your metal detector. So he's like, I'm keeping it, and I'm not splitting it with you. I'm like, okay, whatever, right? And I, right away in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this looks really suspicious, right? Like, when someone buries a cross, normally that's like for a grave or something, right? So right away I was thinking in the back of my mind, oh shit, there could be something wrong with taking this cross. I hope that it's not cursed or something. But I didn't even mention it to him. I think what his plan was is he was going to take the cross and then sell it and try to get some gold or money for drugs. So what happened was is he kept the cross in his room, and then all of a sudden he started getting like haunted fucking shit happening in his room. And he's like, what the fuck, right? Like, he doesn't believe in ghosts. He's like, there's no way that there's anything to do with this cross and a haunting. So he just ignored it. And he said the haunting in his room started to get worse and worse and worse the longer that he kept the cross in there. And then, yeah, where do we want to go? Where are we going? Westward, huh? Yeah, let's check out the oil rig. I tried making it there earlier today and I failed miserably. So let's try again. Nothing like failing miserably and then trying again. Yeah, so then at the peak of the haunting, he said what he kept hearing was like kids screaming and stuff. And what was it? Other stuff like, yeah, kids screaming, objects moving off his tables and stuff, and like flashes or moving objects in like the side of his vision. So he's like, what the hell is going on, right? And then the peak of it, the haunting came. One night he heard the kids screaming in the middle of the night. He's like, what the fuck? Why am I hearing kids screaming, right? And then all of a sudden he felt like kid grabbing him by the neck, choking him. And he was like, like his fucking hands are just choking him, right? So he's like, what the fuck? Then he like stood up and got up and he's like, holy shit, he has to get rid of this fucking cross, right? So I started to realize, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like I asked him how it was going with the cross and he told me the whole story about the fucking haunting in his house and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I forgot to tell you where we found that cross. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, when I was a kid, we used to play in that park a lot. And that park had a giant sand dune. I don't know if I mentioned before, my whole area is sand dunes. So you know how when kids sometimes like build like snow forts or whatever, and it collapses on them, and then parents always tell them, kids, don't ever create snow forts that are that big, because if it collapses on you, you'll die, like suffocating, right? So guess what happened where we found the cross? I forgot to tell him. When I was like 5 years old, there were some other kids that I didn't know that had built a giant sand fort in this sand dune. And they were digging like this giant hole and they were crawling in it and stuff, right? So sadly enough, what happened was one day when the kids were crawling in that fort, it collapsed. And one of them didn't make it out in time. So the kid died there. So I was like, oh, that's why we found the fucking cross there. Someone's parents or something put it there, right? That kid's parents. So I told him about it, and he's like, holy fuck, right? He's like, let's go put the cross back. Yeah, so we went and put the cross back, and he never got haunted again. I was like, what the fuck, right? So that was really weird. So just gotta like warn people, hey guys, if you ever find any wild shit like in a cross somewhere, just be careful, right? And to the memory of that kid who died, like, man, sorry that we did that. I didn't even realize at the time that probably someone buried the cross there for that reason. No, I think that guy changed his opinion about believing in hauntings after that. I shouldn't laugh. That was horrible. Can you imagine getting choked like that in the middle of the night? And hearing kids screaming? Oh god, that would have been a nightmare. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly right there. Last time I flew, and I tried walking the rest of the way, Aatrox got me. Well, let's try landing again. I'll make it exciting. So I don't know what's the deal with all the Aatrox, but why they keep running for me and leaving everyone else. It's fucking annoying, but it's victimhood, right? Everyone's out to get me. All the Aatrox are always out to get me. Yeah, let's hope I make it this time. Last time I tried to make it, I just kept dying on those Aatrox. The one good news, I noticed they started teleporting people back to another teleporter that was walkable to the, or another spawn point that was walkable to the teleporter without getting killed by the Aatrox. So I don't know if they changed that recently after watching my videos or what the deal was. And where the hell's the oil rig? I think it's over there. Must be where all the vehicles. Now the other thing I was bitching and complaining about is that yeah, there's the oil rig. So I was bitching that people are still spawning their vehicles here to collect the oil as like an exploit. I don't know if you guys noticed the exploit or heard me talk about it before. I'll say hi to everyone. Hey everybody. Alright, so at least this time I made it to the oil rig. That makes me happy. Let's hope the episode actually records this time. Last time it recorded an hour-long show and it was a 20-minute long video. I tried watching it and it didn't work. Like when I tried to play it, it was just all glitchy. It wasn't a real proper video. So yeah, that sucked balls and not in a good way. Then I tried a whole bunch of other settings. Couldn't get it to record. So if anyone's done OBS in 4K before, let me know. It'd be nice. I did all this upgrades to my computer to record in 4K and it looks like I won't be able to, but hey, at least the monitor is way bigger. I've got more space now. A lot of shit's cool. Alright, this is normally when I pick up the oil right about here. So I'll try standing here and we'll discuss some more of Entropia stuff. Maybe I'll go back into the video archive and see what other comments we got. Guys praying for oil. Remember guys, never pray for monetary gains. Although in Entropia it's okay because it's another universe. I don't think this god minds. Alright, the last video I made, we got a comment from Barney Stinson. And he put first because he made the comment first. And then Jeremiah H, he put a comment second. Now I tried sharing the video on regular social media platforms like the Facebook group and Bonnie's page, and right away my video started getting hit with the dislikes again. So someone on the page of Facebook, I guess, really dislikes my videos and just logs in and dislikes them without even watching them. Maybe they're watching them and disliking, so I shouldn't be hating on it, but I don't know, that's the main reason I got away with sharing in social media. It's everyone's just going to dislike the videos. It's going to ruin my channel and I'll get it canceled by YouTube. So if anyone else wants to help share instead, that'd be nice. I don't know, I guess maybe watch sharing it on the Facebook pages because someone's disliking the content. I noticed that with Entropia. I don't know why it is like that. Probably because people are losing money so bad that there's a lot of people that are pissy. Sort of like prunes. So either they don't like people making content every day, or they're just upset that some people are profiting in the game and they're losing lots all the time, so that's why they give it dislikes. Or maybe it's McCormick. I was talking about him a fair bit. I sent him a friend request in Facebook and no luck yet. Hoping to get him for an interview one day. Although the one thing I noticed is when I started to make like wanting to interview haters about why they hate stuff, usually they never post why they hate stuff, or no, they'll post that, but they'll never do interviews. So it's like, why are you guys like so vocal that you hate something, but when I ask to do an interview, you won't? So it's like, don't you want to make your voice heard about why you hate shit? Oh, we got maybe more viewers. Hey Metalhead. Hey Lilo Dallas. I tried turning the Entropia game up to medium settings to see how that looked on it, and it looked nice. Now the only thing I didn't like is it was getting close to dark and there was a whole bunch of shadows on everything. Man, does the game ever look like trash with shadows everywhere? I don't know if other people notice that, but it's like, why did they make shadows so dark? They should have made shadows like way more faint so that it doesn't look like garbage. It's probably just maybe in my settings, if you turn it all the way up to very high, maybe it looks good in shadows, but I don't know, from what I could tell, it did not look good. So I turned it back down to low. I feel like I shouldn't run because every time I'm here, it seems like it throws it right to me here. I think I picked up oil here twice. It's my like lucky spot. You know the lucky spot, right? Everyone has their own. Get my mind out of the gutter. Oh, I thought I saw a flash, but it was shit. So if anyone's looking for some Ashi action, you guys can see this video, what's up with the oil rig lately. Now I don't want to say people are parking their vehicles all around this to do the exploit. Maybe this is just to deter the A-tracks from getting us. Hopefully that's what it is. Maybe this oil rig probably doesn't shoot the oil out far enough to actually hit the vehicle, so it's not an exploit then. If people are wondering, I don't know if it's still an exploit, or some people at the rigs were telling me that if you ever see vehicles there, the main reason is because the oil rig will shoot oil out, and when it does, if it hits a vehicle, it'll go in it. You know how when things go in, when your finger disappears inside? Sorry, too much information. Alright, so anyways, yeah, when the oil goes in, apparently it goes in the tank, or it goes in the storage of the vehicle. I never actually tried it because I'm like, man, that sounds like an exploit to me, so I never bothered doing it. I don't know, a lot of times when I find profit ways in the game, I'm always like, holy shit, is this an exploit? I better be careful. I've really never stood around this oil rig for very long to see where the spray pattern is. All I know is a few times I picked up oil around here, so it made me happy when times were gray. Sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, never stop every time you're near. When we're together. No, I'm thinking of the heavy metal version for some reason. Does one such exist? Since all these players keep running in that pattern, I'm assuming that it only sprays in the front. Although he is running around the back sometimes. I should ask, how far does this rig spray oil? I can't remember last time it sprayed it out. Did it leave a tracer effect like the Arcadia oil rig? Or was it one of those ones where it just sprays it and it just appears on the ground? They used to have an oil rig like this by one of the swamps, but Calypso shut it down. I think I read a forum about it or something and people are complaining, why did they shut it down? And I think someone was saying like exploits or something, but it wasn't really an exploit. What it was is everyone formed a line, and then there was a guard for the line, and if anyone butted in the line, they would shoot them. So it was a deterrent to wait your turn in line, and once it was your turn in line, you went and stood in front of the oil rig, and it would spray out, and then you pick it up, and you had to go back to the back of the line. So I don't know if it was too much like the socialist paradise that people see in Cuba and other Venezuela and other countries that are socialist. You have to wait in line and get everything for free. So maybe they've tried to deter that type of behavior. To that second floor building? Yeah, right. That's how far they shoot. Man, I can't read the chat because it's so small now. Wow. What second floor building? Do they mean that building? That'd be weird. Maybe it makes a noise when it comes up? Yeah, I remember the old rig, it would go glug glug when the oil came out, so you'd have an idea. I don't know, I typed it and hit enter. Oh, there we go. No, I meant the trick about does it spray right into the vehicles? Does that actually happen sometimes? Oh yeah, it would have to go into the storage, not the oil tank. Because like he said, it wouldn't be refined. Yeah, it'd be exciting for the show to loot some oil. I could help replenish some of my fucking auction fees. Replacing all my stuff on auction that will never sell. Like a whore. Who are we kidding? Hell, whores sell quick. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I was kind of happy because the episode I recorded today, I was so out of it, like in excitement about seeing that new monitor hooked up, that it was a pretty awful show. Some of the topics were a little bit worse even for me. So it was probably for the best it didn't record. I often notice that when I'm bitching about something failing, sometimes failure is good. You need failure every now and then in your life. And yeah, and just getting the NVIDIA Shield yesterday, oh man, what a fucking rush that was. Like I've been trying to fix that thing for years, and to finally get it, well, I guess over a year. Or maybe a year, right on the money, somewhere around there. Anyways, long time I was trying to fix it. And what kept happening is I mounted the hard drive to it, like it said, so I could use it as storage, because my internal storage kept coming up with a warning saying it was full. So then I did that, mounted it, and then I was like, what the fuck? I'm still getting the warning that it's full. So it was still trying to save everything to the internal and never the external. So that was a little bit disappointing. But in retrospect, I worked on it, and yeah, I got it working. What happened was I found you could move some things to the external, but they were saying the apps would always go to the internal because it needed to go in the internal. I was like, well, that's fucking annoying. So what happens when you have so many apps that it says full? You just can't download any more apps? And they're like, well, you should have room for hundreds of apps. Why is it full already? Because the app itself isn't really that big, right? So then what I found out was I was looking at the apps that were taking up so much room, and one was Arc Browser. And Arc Browser is the one that I use for all my ROMs, for games that I already own. Because when I was a kid, I still have all the old games that I used to, just the console's broke in most cases. So I'm like, oh fuck man, if I can't play the console and I still have the games, with this ROM technology you're legally allowed to play them. Which I thought was really nice and cool and whatnot. Yeah, what are those guys doing? They look so funny. So anyways, I looked into the forums for people having the same problem, and I finally found a guy who posted the same problem. He's like, yeah, he put on Arc Browser and it filled his hard drive up with like 10 gigs. He's like, what the fuck? And then people in the chat told him, they're like, man, when you set up Arc Browser, what you're supposed to do is go into the settings and change it so that the app will save everything to the external, but not the app itself. So the app itself is only a few megabytes, I think like 10 or 20 megabytes. But when it saves all of its ROMs and all the folders and all the details, it'll save it to the external, so that way you don't fucking fill up the entire hard drive on the external or internal. So I'm gonna get internal and external mixed up repeatedly. So what I did is I went into the settings, changed it, and then I have to start all over again. But I was like, at this point, I'm just happy that I found a way to fix it. So yesterday I stayed up late last night, getting everything back and set up on it. And yeah, everything was mainly saving to the external, so my internal drive was still empty. Well, not empty, but not overflowing anymore. So that's what I'm going to do from now on, is go into the app settings of each app, and if any of them save data to the internal, I'll delete all the internal data and resave it so that it goes back to the external. Sorry, my chair keeps squeaking. I swear that's all it is. No, I made a horrible mistake today. My roommate got some really good sandwich meat on sale a few months ago, and every time I ate it, I would start getting that shitting blood problem. So I was like, fuck man, maybe it was coming from that meat. It was contaminated with E. coli or something. So I thought all the meat was gone, but apparently some of it was in the freezer. So I'm like, I took it out while she took it out, and I made a sandwich with it today just to test it, to see if, hey, maybe eating this meat was what was causing me to have horrible stomach pains. And yeah, I think it was the meat. We'll see when I go to the washroom later, but I don't anticipate it's going to be very pretty. Not that going to the washroom ever is. Yeah, so too much information there, but yeah, just I'm happy that I might have gotten to the bottom of where I was getting the poisoning from. Just try never eat that delicious sandwich meat ever again. I'm like Homer Simpson. Ever see that episode where the giant sub? He won a giant sub, so he started trying to eat it, and then instead of keeping his giant sub in the fridge, he ended up just keeping it out. I think he stored it on his radiator. I have radiators in my house too, but I swear I didn't store it there. Just when I was defrosting it. No, just kidding. Now what I'm doing is just trying to keep some distance between me and other players. So if the oil barrel comes out, I'll have a chance to pick it up if I'm near it, before they get it. Compared to if I'm standing near a whole bunch of people and it shoots out, probably not going to be the greatest, because I won't be able to pick it up in time and I'll be yelling and screaming. No! Now, when I was picking up fruits and stones and shit today, I made a decent amount. Some of the piles of fruits I was picking up were over 100. So I shouldn't be that pissed that I fucking didn't make any profits to recoup my auction fees. I don't know. I wish people would type if they picked up the oil. Maybe they do. Because normally when I get oil, I type it in the chat of how many barrels it was, so that people know if oil is still coming out, and they get an idea of how big the stacks are, in case they've never been here before and they're contemplating if it's worth standing around or not. I don't know, I did so much sweating today already in the other video that I prefer to do this than sweating. Leave me alone! Why won't you leave me alone? Now this is funny, another case where you're playing the MMO and you want all the players to go away. It's like life, right? Like, how often did the lockdown teach us a lesson? A lot of people like me are probably staying inside too much. And we learned a lesson. It's like, hey, when you're allowed to travel outside, try to travel outside as much as you can. And when you have chances to hang out with your friends and family, Make sure you do, because you never know when the fucking communist dictators will take your rights away again. Now I'm hoping, like, we're gonna be bound for, this has to keep getting worse and worse and worse until we actually get a leader that's going to be pro-human rights. I know it might sound pretty drastic that we'll actually get a leader that's going to look after our human rights, but no, guys, I was reading over that Agenda 21 thing. I thought it was just a myth that Alex Jones had made up. Not the Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. The one with the guy with the same name that has nothing to do with him. In case YouTube's listening. Now, he was on Joe Rogan's show, and he was going on about all the stuff that he was right about, and Joe was like, holy shit, man. Like, the only thing Alex Jones has ever been wrong about is that fucking Sandy Hook thing. And he actually went to court and apologized for all that. So yeah, he's not like flawless prophet guy or whatever. He does get shit wrong. But man, his track record is almost flawless. But yeah, I couldn't believe all that shit he's been talking about the Agenda 21. Has anyone heard some of the stuff to it? I was so shocked when I read the official document from the UN that I went and read to see what the Wikipedia page would say about it. And the Wikipedia page is just full of shit. I was like, why don't people just read the actual Agenda 21 paper from the UN themselves? Like, they published it and everything, so you can see what the agenda is. Yeah, and the agenda included closing all of the small private businesses permanently and switching everything over to giant companies like Walmart and Amazon, having everything shipped to your house. So I was like, man, all these companies that are losing their small businesses, the Agenda 21 has already been promising to do this for years. But I guess no one realized that they were actually going to do it one day. Like, it almost sounded like Alex Jones material, like they would never shut down everyone's businesses. On the other thing, everyone's probably been wondering in their cities, I don't know if it's just my city, I noticed a few other people's cities were complaining about it, that they're shutting all the roads down and making them bike lanes. Like 2-lane highway or big busy roads are getting shut down so that there's only 1 lane instead of 2, and then the other lane's getting converted to bike lanes. And part of the Agenda 21 was they're planning on phasing everyone to the universal basic income. And once you switch over to that universal basic income, it's not supposed to be enough to pay for vehicles. So they anticipate that everyone will have to switch to biking. So that's why they're making all these bike lanes bigger and stuff. I was like, holy fuck, man, I didn't even realize. So the UN is actually planning our roads and stuff in our cities for us. Yeah, so you won't be allowed to own your own car soon. So I was like, man, that's kind of wild. Like, I've never owned a car. I've always been anti-car and pro-public transit. It's one of the reasons that I end up not getting into too many relationships. I'm not saying all women, but like 99% of women, they always want men to maintain these traditional values of being this the main bread provider, driving them around places, protecting them from getting beat up. But it's weird, eh? It's like women are often saying that they hate the women traditional values of staying home to do all the chores, cooking and cleaning, doing dishes, making sandwiches, right? Like, so it's kind of weird. I noticed that in our society, men are still expected to uphold all of our traditional values. But women, on the other hand, they want the best of both worlds. They want no traditional values. So, I don't know, every time I hear a woman that's good at making sandwiches, I'm like, alright. I know it seems sexist and all, but I'm still a little bit more traditional values. I'm pretty good at making sandwiches too, not to say I never would, but it's nice when women aren't afraid to be women, right? Be feminine, that they're always trying to be men. That's a weird thing. I used to do a lot of feminism protest and hang out with feminists, and I was like, everything you guys are saying is like you're trying to turn yourselves into men, right? Like, you want to wear men's clothing, you want men's haircuts, you want men's jobs. It's like, isn't that weird that feminism wants to become men? You think it would almost be the opposite, where they'd be more feminine, right? No, I was watching some interviews on YouTube. Bunch of different stuff in Asia. Oh, I started working on Chinese a little bit. Ni hao, or ni hao ma. That means hello, or hello, how are you? Hi, how are you? I guess that's what that means. Or I could be saying it wrong. I've only done one day. I was learning the basic greetings and numbers. Numbers was a little bit much for me. I started just with the greetings, but at least I can read the numbers from 1 to 4 now. If anyone doesn't know, the Chinese numbers are just like Roman numerals, where they start with a line for 1, 2 lines for 2, 3 lines for 3, and then the pi symbol for 4. I thought that was kind of neat. And I think the pi one will be easy for me to remember because pi has 4 in it, right? 3.14. Now I figured instead of bitching all the time about China taking over and not being able to understand anyone in my city when I go shopping or talk to tellers, I'm like, I might as well just learn basic phrases in Chinese and learn to love it. I remember when my stepmom, she used to lock all the cupboards in the kitchen so that I was never allowed to eat food. I was basically being starved to death. And then to taunt me, what they would do is order pizza and then get all the toppings on it that I hated. Like just cover it in anchovies. And at first, anchovies would make me so gross, like I would gag just smelling them. But it was either learn to like that or starve. So I was like, alright, guess I'm learning to eat anchovies. And then by the end of it, now I love anchovies. So I guess her plan to starve me to death kind of backfired. No, not to say my stepmom was super evil, because I was actually a complete jackass too, so you can imagine me in my teenager years being like 100 times worse than I am now. I was always partying, completely trashing their house. Anytime they would leave on vacation or something, I would throw a huge party with like hundreds of people and just trash the place. Now, one time I turned down a free trip to Mexico to see the pyramids so I could stay home and party. And man, did I ever throw an epic party. My dad was so funny when he got back. He's like, you drank 10 cases of beer in the week we were gone? I was like, yes, I drank the beer, all of it. He's like, it doesn't matter, at least I get to keep the cases and return the empties. I'm like, yeah, you can return the empties, Dad. Now, I'll never forget the one time too, we spilt when we were trashing the house at parties, we spilled like a whole bunch of grape juice on the carpet. And then I tried to use, what was it, like salt or baking soda or something to like soak it out of the carpet to try to clean it, to hide the fact that we had like a huge disaster. And my dad comes home and he sees the stain on the carpet and he goes and starts licking it to see what it was. I was like, oh God, it's like, what would happen if that was the dog pissed on the carpet, Dad? He's like, oh yeah. Trying to decipher if it was booze that I had spilt on the carpet. I don't know why he was licking it. It's like, thank God it wasn't blood or something. No, maybe some men are just into licking carpet, right? Get your mind out the gutter. Alright, so let's do a quick break message from the sponsor, see how that works. Today's oil picking adventures were brought to you by Crack! Crack! It'll fuck you up. Woo! I better hurry back. We could be rich in oil at any minute. No, sorry guys, the bright idea page was a little bit too big still from the resolution adjustments. I have a feeling my other screens are going to require adjustments too. I don't know, is the oil never coming, or are these guys getting it and no one's sharing? I just hope the episode records. I'm at the point now where, man, if we get an hour-long episode today, I'll be happier than a pig in shit. Now, other things I used to do to piss my stepmom off is I'd have my girlfriend over and we'd always be making out in the bedroom. So they would always try to like open the door to make sure that it's like, hey, don't be closing the door in there. That was always pissing them off. In retrospect, it was kind of funny because my dad was always saying he was doing that to make sure I didn't have kids too young. And I was thinking, boy, Dad, that was your only chance, because like after I became a little bit older, I realized that I never wanted to have kids. So if you didn't be such a prune like that, you'd have grandkids right now. But you had this idea in your head that having kids when you're young was a bad idea. I don't know who started teaching parents that. Like, I don't know. I find like the younger parent or kids are, or yeah, I guess teenagers are that have their own kids, it actually benefits their life way more than any people that grew up without having kids young. But maybe that's part of the Agenda 21 thing. They were trying to convince everyone to lower the population. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, they want everyone to stop eating red meat. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding. What's the alternative? They want everyone to eat insects. I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. This is part of the UN's plan? Taking our fucking right away to eat red meats? We gotta eat insects? That's fucked, yo. Well, in the defense of the Agenda 21, they say the reason they're being so strict like this, it's either that or kill off the population in massive amounts to make up for like not having enough resources. Like we don't have enough food or we don't have enough land. Enough people have realized that land is skyrocketing in prices and home prices are skyrocketing because as the population grows bigger and bigger, all of a sudden everything has to become more and more expensive because free space becomes more rare. And when it becomes rare, it goes way up in price. Sort of like Entropia logic, right? So anyone who's in favor of this Agenda 21, I don't want to say I'm totally against it. This managing the planet's resources does sound like a somewhat reasonable plan. Yeah, and then once you switch over to eating insects and cut out the red meat, it drastically lowers reproductive rates. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed how many vegan friends you know that have big families, right? And if they do have kids, it's usually a really sickly one. Not to make fun of that or anything, but truth hurts, right? Now, I know lots of my friends and families, and even some of my friends' families are dying from vegan diets where they get really sick, start thinking they're allergic to their cold, young women losing all their hair, getting giant bald spots. I was hoping in the future, maybe schools will start teaching like each food group and what will disintegrate if you don't eat it. What is it, fish and salmon? That's one of those ones where your skin, your hair, and all that will decay. So if you're wondering why you're going bald at like 20, it's because you're not eating fish anymore. It's like, what is it, that omega-3? And not that like the vegan diet is the worst either. The carnivore diet I find is just as bad. I had friends that became carnivores and they started losing their teeth and their gums were bleeding all the time. I had the same thing when I cut back my vitamin C intake by accident. I stopped eating fruit and vegetables and I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about vitamin C. Started getting scurvy. Even my dentist couldn't figure it out. He's like, dear God, man, your teeth are spotless. It's like they're in mint condition. He's like, why the hell are your gums bleeding so much? I'm like, I don't know, you're the dentist, can you tell me? Then I found out when I got home and started taking some vitamin C supplements, boom, the bleeding gums was like gone the next day. So now I try to at least eat some fruit and vegetables a little bit. Scurvy is not something you want to fuck around with, right? I think I might have to uninstall OBS and reinstall it because all the fucking menus are the wrong sizes now. I can't read them and it won't let me change the scale of it. Maybe there's a way if anyone knows how. I tried making the menu things bigger and it just makes the menu space bigger, but the text is still like fucking microscopic. Too much shrinkage. Right, so that Halloween event's coming up soon. I'm gonna leave Calypso today. And I was asking Kayla what's going on with the Halloween Mayhem event. She said it's still bugged and no one's doing it yet, or part of it's open but not the whole thing. So maybe I'll come back and do the Mayhem Halloween thing after Halloween's actually over. Maybe I can get a gift while I'm on Monria. That'd be sweet. I don't know, did anyone else collect Halloween gifts yet? I probably should have been asking. It's so close to Halloween already, they probably gave them out already. And I missed it. Yeah, I'll type that in the chat now and see if anyone's able to put it. I'm gonna have to make this a little bigger. I just don't have enough room to read the chat. Now that the text is so fucking small. It's probably the opposite. I probably have more room. What am I talking about? I'm always doing things opposite. No, and then the other thing, when I was reading the Wikipedia page about Agenda 21, I noticed something very red flaggy about it. Like, I noticed other YouTubers, like Rebel Media, they were making fun of anyone who believed that Agenda 21 was real. So that's why I was assuming the document didn't exist. But then I found out it is a real plan by the United Nations. They've been working on it for decades. Part of the managing the Earth's resources. Not to just be evil killing. Like, that's the part I don't agree with. That they're doing it because they're evil. Like, I think honestly they really realize that the planet is fucked. We've almost killed all the life forms in the ocean. We've farmed all the land. We've used up all the mining resources. Oh, that was the bad news I got up north. The mines up north have gotten so bad that you can't eat the fish from the lake more than once a month if you're a man, and women and children are forbidden from eating it. I don't know, it's kind of weird, eh? It's like, why are women and children not allowed, but men still are? It's because we're expandable, I guess. Or maybe we're more willing to destroy our stomachs. No, they said not only was the mercury levels off the charts, but also chromium. And it was something to do with the mines getting their waste into the fucking water. See, that's the First Nations people are right about a lot of things. We're actually fucking up the planet really hardcore. So not to hate on Agenda 21, but the one thing I noticed in there that was really scary, now I even forget what I was going to say. So scary, I can't even remember. No, so what did they have? They had the bike lanes, they had the changing of foods, the reproduction reduction. What else was there? Oh, the destruction of small businesses. Oh yeah, the guaranteed minimum income. That everyone's going to be switched over to that. So basically everyone will be poor. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. You're not allowed to own stuff. They said once you adapt the basic income project, no one has ownership of things. So it's like if you ever did get a house, you won't own it. You'll just be renting it from the government. And they said they're going to phase everyone to that. So it's like even if you own a house now, the UN is coming to take your house. So I was like, man, that's pretty fucked up. I don't know how they're going to organize that. So I'm pretty sure a few people that own mansions are not going to be happy about that. That's the thing with communism, right? Like once you switch over everyone to the same incomes and everyone having the same, that's going to be meaning everyone's poor, right? Even no matter how hard you try in life, even if you become a doctor, you'll still have to live in the same shack that someone who's poor lives in. So that's a little bit sketch, right? Like, I can't believe that people are going to agree to that, but they said the same thing. Once everyone switches over to the minimum income, they won't be able to afford to pay for anything. You won't be able to afford your mansion's property taxes. Because like even houses in Toronto right now, you're looking at over $10,000 a year in property tax. So that guaranteed minimum income would have to all go to that. And if you're not allowed to work, right, like what the hell? Or if you don't get paid from work, you just get your guaranteed minimum income check. Then how are you going to start making your Ferrari payments? Or how are you going to make your mansion payments, right? Like having all this expensive shit is like determined that you keep making ridiculous amounts. If you switch over to making normal amounts, then all of a sudden you can't afford to keep all that expensive shit. Oh yeah, that was the main thing, that the red flag was from Wikipedia. Wikipedia has it on their page that anyone who disagrees with anything of the Agenda 21 is a far-right extremist. It even says that right on the Wikipedia page. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's like labeling anyone that disagrees with your political values a Nazi. And it's right on the fucking Wikipedia page. So like, I guess someone could have just put that in there as a joke. Everyone knows that you can change stuff on Wikipedia. But the thing is that that joke will eventually get rewritten to be proper. Because that's how Wikipedia works, right? Everything gets corrected after an amount of time because constant peer review. So that's why a lot of times I take everything on Wikipedia with a grain of salt. I'll read it, be like, all right, and then come back and check it in a month or two just to make sure what the updates have been, if all that's still the same. If there's anything that was a little bit fishy the first time I read it, I read it again and be like, oh, that was just a mistake. So not to be hating on Agenda 21, maybe it's a good thing for everyone to be on a guaranteed minimum income, lose everything they own, and for everyone's small businesses to be completely destroyed. And maybe they're going to make some adjustments to that plan. It won't be as harsh as it seems. But yeah, like fucking Alex Jones on what's it, Joe Rogan's show. Even Alex Jones was saying, he's like, you know what, Joe? He's like, I don't like talking about this conspiracy stuff anymore. And Joe was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, now it's like before we used to make fun of it. Like it was like even he was doing it as like an act for his show. They would just make fun of all these crazy conspiracy theories. But he's like, now that we're living in the world where it's actually all occurring, he doesn't even like talking about it anymore. I'm pretty sure he's upset about it too because he lost his family over it. Like his wife, I don't know if you knew that she was Jewish and she was probably pretty hot. So it's like, man, after he got a bad divorce and stuff, it was like, that's got to be harsh for anyone to get divorced and lose your family, right? So he just wanted to talk on Joe Rogan's show, and he tried to get him to drink booze the whole time and drink and smoke weed with him. But Joe's like, no, sorry, Alex, I can't party with you this episode because of all the fucking the sober October. How many more days do we got? Fuck, man, hardly any. All right, so today is the 28th, 29th, 30, 31. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more days of it to go. I'm adding an extra day because I was so high I didn't even know it was October until the 2nd. It's like I was so fucked up. I'm like, what month is this? What year is this? Now I actually had that when I was working at a call center for Sears for about a year. Some guy called in one day and he was just like from Back to the Future and he sounded so serious. He's like, sir, what year is it? And I told him, I think it was like 2001 or something. He's like, oh my god! And then he hung up. I don't know if he was just prank calling, probably, but it was so funny. I got a good chuckle out of it. And I felt bad for the other girls that worked at my call center. Well, maybe I shouldn't feel bad. Maybe some of them liked it. They said a lot of guys would call in. Well, not a lot, but occasionally. And they would pretend like they were talking on a sex line. Like they would start making like really rude sexual comments to them on the phone. I was like, that never once happened to me. I was kind of hoping. At least not by a gay guy. Yeah, I bet you I'll hope for it and a fucking gay guy will come out and call and hit on me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Alright, so no oil. I was kind of hoping we could get at least 1 barrel of oil, but I'm getting called to move my uncle and I gotta wrap up the show. I have a feeling this didn't even record. So sorry if I made a bit of a boring episode here, but there's definitely going to be a few of those when you do an episode every day and you're doing technical upgrades. If anyone has any advice on how to change the settings for OBS and doing 4K, let me know. I have a feeling it's just my computer, because even like doing regular stuff, like playing 3 videos at the same time, not that anyone would have any reason to do that, but anyways, playing 3 videos at the same time was getting the same issue, where it would play for a while and then lag out a bit, and then catch up and play for a while and then lag out a bit. So it's like, it's definitely got to be something with my computer. I've probably maxed out something. So I'll have to redo a system format and try to get everything. I'm going to talk to my buddy Frank and get his help to install my new hard drive. So hopefully the new hard drive, and once I get my computer formatted, I'll be able to record in 4K. But right now it looks like this will be the highest resolution I can go up to. Oh, I even tried 60 frames per second. Boy, was that a nightmare. Crashed everything. Now it's funny too, the forums are like, oh, just put on the presets, it'll work great. Tried that, it didn't work. Alright, so I think that's it for today's episode. Yeah, that's it. So if anyone wants to help out the show with doing the Patreon, you guys are the best. Society 6 is where I got my merch. Finishing Quick is my specialty shirt. Sorry, I'm just watching for the oil still. Yeah, and it also comes in bed sheets, which is very popular with the ladies. Swagbucks is the discount codes, 1 to 5% off on shopping online. And it's sort of like air miles, where your points just keep building up. Then at the end, you take your points and you buy Amazon gift cards, and they'll send those to you. I don't know if they actually send you cards or it's electronic. I'll have to test it out one of these days, because people are using it. I'm getting referral points. I appreciate that, guys. You guys are the best. I'm surprised everyone doesn't use it. So anyways, yeah, that's the Swagbucks. GameKit will pay you to be a gamer. Entropia partners will pay you the same thing. So if you guys want to try it through that, make sure you do. Hideout TV is the one that'll pay you to watch videos, similar to YouTube, except the ad revenue goes not only to creators but also to viewers, and you don't have to reach no 1,000 cap or anything. Then Bitcoin is the free lottery spin that I did at the beginning of the show. Everyone who's helping with that, you guys are the best too. Tied with the patrons. No, the Bitcoin casino spins were up to almost 50 people helping, so I really appreciate that, guys. Can't believe I got 50 regular viewers that are doing those spins. It's pretty sweet of you. Right, anyways, virtual made sex machine is for adults and men only, but if ladies need a sex machine, they know who to call. I'm just kidding. Unless you're near Toronto. Or unless we ever get our fucking lives back from the totalitarian regime that's fucking killing our entire society, forcing us into Agenda 21. I'm just kidding. No, who knows? Maybe Agenda 21 isn't so bad either. I don't want to be labeled a far-right extremist for disagreeing with anything they say. Alright, yeah, I can't believe Agenda 21 is real, too. So that Prime Minister's leaked document, everything that was in that has already been confirmed. And I was thinking, really, there was nothing leaked in that. Agenda 21 was already out in the open, and everything that he talked about in that document is in Agenda 21. And we already have the quarantine centers built, and people are in them. But I think what's different about those is they're somewhat optional. Although I was hearing that if you travel from another country, they're going to start putting you in those automatically, like actually escorting you from the airport to a facility and making you go in there. So I guess that is kind of like being forced in, right? So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. What else was there? Don't want to finish on a bad note. Oh, one good thing if you guys want to check out is Raven Jade's work. She's very optimistic YouTube channel, very positive. So if you want to check her channel out, it's way less depressing than mine. And she has the best cleavage in all of Entropia. Not to make fun of her or anything, I just can't help myself. But anyways, yeah. But also, yeah, thanks to the viewers. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Make sure you check out that metal detecting page. Maybe I'll link it at the end of this video if I can remember. I think I wrote down that I was supposed to link something last time and forgot again. Son of a whore. Not there's anything wrong with whores. Who doesn't love a good whore? And yeah, and the Entropia zine if you want to check that out. And just make sure you never buy the products from my sponsor, because it will ruin your life. Bye for now, everyone. See you later. Yeah, don't forget to go to Monria. We're going to be doing that big event there soon. I'll share some more details on it when we get closer. See ya. 3 things. Bye.